Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Gotta forgive me, I can't look at you. On the road, and y'all gotta excuse my face. If the light hit me the wrong way, I just got done with a 4-step face routine, so my face a little shiny, but hopefully the shade keep me neutral. But you know, I wanted to pop in and headed to a lunch meeting. And so probably got about 30 minutes. And this car here coming across their lines. Like, look, get your head out your phone. Keep your eyes on the road. Yo, they're trying to vape. Stop vaping while you're driving. Pay attention. See how folks be? You gotta drive defensive. You gotta watch out for other people's mistakes too. And one thing I wanted to remind you of is you have to keep yourself together. You gotta hold yourself together. Things like we always going through tests in our life. We're always going through tests in our life. And this test is just to see our growth. As you grow, you get tested. So whatever you say you want to do, whatever you say you want to get better at, you're going to be tested in that area. And so often we fail. And we fail a lot of times for the same reason. A lot of times it's because we care too much about what other people think. We get too caught up about what other people think. And we do things that we should not be doing. Things that just don't make sense in that moment. And one of the things that I get to see, being a content provider and getting to read comments, I get to see the instability of humans. Because it's in the comment area, it's on the comments of the videos and posts where people show when they're losing their wits. And people speak out of anger, speak out of fear, speak out of insecurity, speak out of conviction. Not conviction like a good conviction, but like a bad conviction when you are convicted for something you're doing wrong. People get defensive and they make an argument when no one was arguing with them. But that's how it is when we're not operating from the right place. We turn molehills into mountains that we then have to climb. And we make life so much harder on ourselves through our defensiveness because of the work that we're not doing. So I want to remind you, you have to remain diligent in the work. And it's so hard. It's so hard because you got to understand what's out here and what's working against you. And you see the test and you know the test. But you got to really be on top of it. You know, you got to really be mindful. And I'm gonna tell you what's happening. See, you have habits, and those habits are really just brain loops. It's just a brain pattern. So when you do certain things, you have a chemical release from your brain. The things that you are trying to stop doing, those impulse decisions. And what happens is when you caught up in it, it's a high. So when you fornicate, when you masturbate, when you lust, when you lie, when you cheat, when you steal, when you cut corners, when you give in to your guilty pleasure, you eating sweets at midnight, When you give into your guilty pleasure, you watch ratchet TV, you listen to ratchet music, you get a high. When you're caught up in it, you get a high. Your brain get a release, and it's like, this guilty pleasure. But then when you start to grow, and you start to know better, and you know right from wrong and what you should not be doing, in the moment when you do it, you start to feel real guilty. You start to feel real guilty because you know better. You know you shouldn't have did that. And when you do that, knowing that you shouldn't have did it, you set yourself back. You set yourself back and you block the blessing that's for you. You block the next level. And as I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking at my life and I'm looking at decisions and I'm looking at the next level. And God just let it run through my head, a flood of thoughts to say, hey, this growth right here, this is an opportunity for growth right here. This is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you're ready for the next level. Because if you can't be faithful right now, you can't be faithful next year. You got to show yourself right now that you could do the right thing, that you can grow, that you could do what's right, that you can make the better decision for yourself to create new habits. And so sometimes what'll happen is before you all the way to the growth, you'll be in a zone to where the action brings pleasure. Pleasure is temporary. Pleasure is momentary. Pleasure does not lead to happiness. Pleasure leads to pain. So the action is pleasurable. And then not long after it comes the guilt and the remorse. But you've done it. So because you did it, although you feel guilty about it, you did not learn and you did not grow. You did not retrain your brain. You did not rewire your brain. You did not create a new brain pattern that chooses to do the right thing. So then you come to the place to where you do the right thing. You make the right choice. And when you make the right choice, you then console yourself about not worrying about other people's opinions, other people's advice, other people's thoughts of you. You know you're doing the right thing. So you console yourself about that. So now you just created a new brain pattern. You just developed another layer of emotional intelligence. You just taught yourself that you can make good choices, that you can do the right thing. You taught yourself that. And then from there, you do it again, you do it again, you do it again. And each time you do it, you get stronger, you get wiser, you get closer to the next level. It's just like on a video game. When you pass this test, you pass this test, and then you get to the end of that stage and it's a big test. You beat that. You beat that test. From there, you go to the next level. But if you fail that test, if you can't beat that test, you're not going to the next level. You're gonna stay right there on that level until you learn. And each time you are faced with that test, you learn one more thing. And you continue to learn one more thing until you eventually have it figured out. And you say, okay, this is how you beat this test. All right, so now I gotta do this, then I gotta do this, then I gotta do this, then do this, then do this. Boom, I figured it out. I beat the test. Now you're ready for the next level. In that moment, your skills are being sharpened. Your sword is being sharpened. You're getting better. And so, this right here, we all in different places. You know, one young lady wrote in about masturbation and how she keeps doing it and she feels guilty. Right there on the verge. Right there on the verge of your breakthrough. Of self-control. to not do something that you don't actually have to do. To not do something that brings you pleasure, but it doesn't actually bring you peace and happiness. And so to abstain from that thing will develop strength. It'll develop discipline. It'll develop emotional intelligence. So that's something that we have to do. It's something we got to show ourselves to do. And when we do it, here's what you notice. So I'll do a prime example right now. A jeweler wrote me and he said, hey, Tony, what's going on? I'm like, what's up, man? Hey, I'm gonna get in touch with you. He was like, man, I want to get me a little pendant. And he's like, oh man, let's get to it. You know, let's look at it. So I sent him my logo. He sent me some examples. Hey man, let me get your number. Let's get on FaceTime. You know, let's make this thing happen. You know, he probably got a sales quota he need to meet. So he has his goals, but I also got my goals too. And so I'm like, okay, boom. He was like, hey, the deposit gonna be $3,000. And I look at my account, and then my account look at me. And so I'm looking at my account, and my account looking at me. So I could send the $3,000, but then my account will be gasping for air. And I really don't need a pendant right now. Like, I don't need it right now. It may be a Christmas gift. You know, it costs $15,000 total. And I want one just because I wanted a little, it's like a little charm. It's only 2 inches and it'll have my TG logo. And I want one just because I like to shine, you know, like a king. And I wanted one when I was in the streets. So now being legal and living an honest life, I also want to show myself that you can get nice things and the things you want living a legal lifestyle. Like, you know, this ain't just for illegal livers. And it also show my son too. My son, they love necklaces. They love necklaces. And my youngest son, he got a little pendant on his little soccer ball. So we love King jewels. My wife love a necklace. If we don't have on a gold necklace, she's like, where's your necklace? Where's your necklace? We come from that. We come from royalty. And so so guess what? I was going, and my wife, she said, I was like, hey, well, you know, I'll get a check. You know, I'll get a check soon for some work I done put in. Maybe I could tell him, hey, I'll shoot you the bread then. And then my wife, she said something that is very human. He was like, well, if you tell him you gotta wait till whenever, then he gonna look at you like you ain't really got it. And that may or may not be true, but that's a thought that we have. That's a thought we have as humans. And I realized that's something that we have to get beyond. Caring what people think about our situation when we making a decision for our situation that's best for us. And at this moment while I'm talking to you, I'm thinking of a multi-millionaire whose parents are a billionaire. And me and him will be talking about something, and we'll talk about a deal, and it's October 2021, and he'll say, talk to me June 2022. And it's like, you ain't got it? And like, it might be, sometimes it might be 5K, 10K that we talking about. And he's like, I'm not able to right now. And so, and then I think a lot of times too, when we honest with people, like if you make up a lie as to why you can't do it, people know you lying and they lose respect for you. But if you tell them the truth as to why you can't do it, then they'll have more respect for you, because the truth is the truth and they realize that. And so when I hang up this video, I'm gonna text the jeweler and say, hey man, I was getting ready to do it, but my account said no. And so, boy, I gotta wait till I got that play money in my expense account. And point blank period, you know. And so that's where I am in my life. Like, I'm not struggling with masturbation. I'm not struggling with pornography. I'm not struggling with cheating on my wife. I'm not struggling with cheating or stealing, you know, lying, but I'm not struggling with drugs or marijuana or anything like that. So where you are in your life, it could be struggling with a different type of test, a different type of situation, and then from where I am in my life. So we all have different things that we trying to overcome. And what I'm struggling, you know, is when you at a new level of income, you still gotta have certain measures that you take in your life. Like, you still gotta be responsible with your finances, because it's people who done made 100 million and go broke. So you still have to be responsible. And so where I struggle at, oh, look, got a little gray hair right there. Oh no, you know what? That ain't no gray hair. Got some toothpaste in my, I wonder how I got toothpaste. Oh, that's my moisturizer I ain't rub in. And a couple gray hairs. Y'all forgive me. Y'all forgive me. I forgot I had put some white moisturizer on my beard to get up under that beard and then rub it in. And so we all at different places. So what my struggle is, you may not struggle with finances. Like, it may be easy for you to say no to something. You know, one of my homeboys hit me, he needed $500. You know, he didn't directly ask for it. My struggle is I normally will offer it and just give it away as a gift. I had to pass that test, so I didn't offer it. I offered a $250 loan. He said he couldn't accept the loan unless I accept his collateral, which is some equipment he have. And I don't want to accept that equipment and be holding that equipment, because he got to mail that to me, then I got to mail it back to him, and it's just too much hassle. You know, I'm not a pawn shop, so I just let it go, you know. And he need the money. He trying to chase a dream. And I got a guy that's writing me from South Africa who booked me to speak in South Africa. He want to come to the States next year. I normally would say, well, man, I just rent an Airbnb for you, because he worried about his budget, you know. But it's like, hey, if you ain't got the money to come, you're just not able to come. I normally recommend that, but see, that's how you go broke. That's how you go broke. So I have to realize, you know, and I still do stuff for people. You know, I'm blessing a family with $350 worth of, you know, adventure or fun this Saturday. You know, that's a blessing. That's something I'm gonna do. It's a family I want to be a blessing to. But if I do that, and I do the South Africa guy, do my homeboy, if I do something for my sister, do here and there, do this and that, it's like before you know it, you broke. And so this was my test at. Your test may not be there, but I'm sharing this with you in transparency so you understand how new levels, new devils. We always gonna be tested or tempted by something. When you overcome one thing, then you tested and tempted by something else. And so that's what you got to realize and understand. So, you know, that's where I'm at with it. I'm like, okay, we have to grow, and we have to make sure that we operating from the right place, and that we recognize the test, and that we pass in the test, and that we get into a place to where we growing in our life, and that we winning on every level. And when I hang up and I tell the jeweler, hey, I ain't got it right now, I'm gonna have it eventually. And I may have it in a lump sum. I may get a royalty check or something like that, to where I could treat myself, cause my bills paid. And then in that moment, boom. Because see, a lot of stuff we do stuff out of anxiety, or we do stuff out of fear. We do stuff out of pressure. You know, the lady was saying last night, she feel pressured by her friends to sleep with a man, because they saying men not gonna wait, but deep down she wanna wait. So she'll be acting out of pressure. She'll be acting out of fear. She'll be acting out of, you know, insecurity. And that's what breaks us down, and that's what keep us where we at, and that's why we keep getting what we getting. So the Lord telling me, like, listen, if you want different, you gotta do different. If you want better, you gotta do better. You gotta be better. Better not gonna come if you still doing the same old you've been doing. Hey, this Tony Gas. I'm gonna stop at this 20 minutes. God bless you. We'll talk soon.